With Wisconsin firing offensive coordinator Phil Longo, it's time to take a look at who's going to replace him. This is a Wisconsin team that is looking to change its identity, and it's been a rough start of it so far in the Luke Fickell era, but they are looking to get that guy that's going to do that and turn Wisconsin into what Luke Fickell believes it can be. One of the most popular names on an offensive coordinator, head coaching list is going to be UNLV's offensive coordinator, Brendan Marion. Now, Brendan Marion is going to do a lot of really good things for his new team. If it's a head coaching position, great. If it's an offensive coordinator position, then also great. Now, two things he's going to bring to the table. He's bringing a unique offense that is still kind of a blend of, the spread offense, and then you kind of add all these different offset formations, kind of these weird different looks in this go-go offense. He's also going to bring you a great recruiter. This is someone who is an elite recruiter. He knows how to bring talent to his program, no matter where that is. And he's a really fun offensive mind. He is someone that is going to be a fan favorite. He has done a really good job at both Texas and at UNLV. And I think that if you're not going to give him a head coaching opportunity, then giving him the ability to call plays and make things happen for Wisconsin is going to be huge. Now, the next one might not be a for sure thing, but Sean Lewis is definitely someone that Luke Fickell should reach out to. And the reason I say is this is a guy who is a proven offensive coordinator. He is someone who knows how to call plays, he knows how to get the most out of his kids. And we've seen that at his time at Kent State. We saw it at Colorado, and now we're seeing it at San Diego State. Now, maybe he wants to sit tight with San Diego State, and maybe he doesn't want to take an offensive coordinator job if he's a head coach. But winning at San Diego State is going to be a challenge. And that's not something that Sean Lewis shies away from. But when you've seen what he's done as an offensive coordinator, you know that he's capable of really exciting things. He brings a great offensive mind, and I think that would be an instant upgrade Wisconsin. Next up is going to be a guy that not a lot of people are talking about. Actually, the next two guys won't get talked about a ton this year, but Tim Cramsey is doing a really good job at Memphis. He has produced one of the most explosive offenses in college football this year. His work with Seth Hennigan has been really exciting. That passing attack from Memphis has been really good, and also the rushing attack has been solid as well. And with Wisconsin, they are looking to find that balance. They are looking to run the football as well as throw it a little bit better than in years past. And obviously, the last couple of years have not been what they've expected. But Tim Cramsey has done a really good job. First, at Memphis this year, but when you go back to his Marshall days, he did not have exactly the best quarterback talent, and he found ways to turn those guys into really productive players. So that's something Wisconsin is looking to do: develop that quarterback talent as well as all explosive plays. Tim Cramsey is someone who can do that. Also, you look at the rushing attack with Memphis. Mario Anderson's been really good. When you look at his time at Marshall, Rasheen Ali was one of the best running backs in college football. So this is a guy who can find the balance, who can call a really good game as an offensive coordinator. And Wisconsin will at least give him, I think, should give him, I should say, an opportunity to see what he can do. Next is going to be Tulane's offensive coordinator, Joe Craddock. Now, when you look at what Tulane has done this year, a lot of people are talking about the job that John Summerhall has done, and obviously he deserves a ton of credit for that, but Craddock deserves a lot of love as well. This is an offense that has been one of the best in college football, and it's because of him. He has been really exciting to watch this year. That Tulane offense has been explosive, and they have done it in a multitude of ways. They have had games where they've relied on the rushing attack to take care of things. Makai Hughes has been really good, and when you look at Darian Mensah and what he's been able to do as a quarterback, you've seen some really exciting things. You've also seen the passing attack do its job. Now, the talent level at Tulane maybe not, isn't what it would be elsewhere. So you give him more talent at Wisconsin, and ideally that's going to be a really good combination. Next up, I have Jason Candle. And the reason why I put Jason Candle here is I think that in college football, we have narratives, perceptions that at a certain point, fans get kind of tired of the same old thing. And while Jason Candle is not struggling by any means at Toledo, they may be getting sick of, not dominating a conference that in theory they should be doing that every single year. Jason Candle is a really good offensive mind. He was Matt Campbell's offensive coordinator, and when Campbell was at Toledo, took over as the head coach. And Toledo, honestly, in my opinion, has underachieved as a program under Candle. Yes, they've still been very successful, but it has not been what Matt Campbell made it. And maybe it's just time for him to move on. And you get obviously a better payday if you go to Wisconsin. And Candle is very familiar with the area, has his experience at Toledo as well as Mount Union. So he knows the Midwest. He knows what they need to do to win. So he's very familiar. That helps you in recruiting. And then you bring a guy in Jason Cando who knows how to coach an offense. Next is going to be Jeff Nixon. The Syracuse offensive coordinator has done an incredible job so far this year for Fran Brown. And he is going to be a name that gets circulated in terms of openings. He is someone who's done a really good job with Kyle McCord, a guy who has been in surprise to a lot of people in 2024, and you put him in a Wisconsin offense that has the potential to be. I think that you have, in theory, Luke Fickle is trying to turn Wisconsin into what to be used to be an old school ground and pound type team into kind of this hybrid. I don't think he's trying to drastically change what Wisconsin is. He's still trying to stay true to the roots. And I think that Jeff Nixon has done a really good job of finding balance at Syracuse. The passing attack obviously has been really good, and maybe you need a little bit of that infused in this Wisconsin offense and see what happens there. Taylor Housewright is another name to keep an eye on, and this was an interesting find for me because this is a guy who from 2021 to 2023 at Montana State had one of the more interesting offenses in college football. This is a guy who had a good blend of kind of old school concepts, power run concepts with a new age look. You had him in the spread and you had some really exciting offenses. Montana State was a national title contender because of that offense, and he is going to be someone to keep an eye on. Currently on Georgia Southern staff as an analyst, if he wants an offensive coordinator position, he could definitely be someone to consider. Another head coach on this list, GJ Kinney. Now, GJ Kinney has done a really good job at Texas State. I just don't know if he's going to get the opportunity to get that power four job right now. So maybe he's going to be an offensive coordinator at the power four level and take over as Wisconsin's offensive coordinator. I think that that brings a very different perspective. I think that Kenny is a very good offensive mind. He has a lot up his sleeve, and we've seen that at Texas State. He knows how to get players to his program. He knows how to develop those players, and he knows how to create an explosive offense. He is someone that I would seriously consider for a lot of programs. I don't know if he's going to get, again, that head coaching job that he's looking for. So maybe he takes a job like Wisconsin, gets into his foot into the door at the Power Four level, and then from there waits for another head coaching job to open up. A guy who I think has done a really good job at Virginia is Taylor Lamb. Now, this is the former App State quarterback. That was one of the better quarterbacks that App State's had in its history and one of the more exciting players to watch in college football when he was playing. He is someone who is in waiting to be an offensive coordinator. So maybe this one's a little bit of a stretch. But again, in these lists, I always try to provide one that is kind of out there. Taylor Lamb is someone who is obviously very good. Anthony Calendar's development has a lot to do with his teaching. And as the quarterbacks coach with Virginia, you obviously are looking for that next step. Offensive coordinator is that next step. And maybe that's going to be the right fit for both Lamb and for Wisconsin. Now, one that's maybe a little bit out there is Mike Shanahan for Indiana. Now, Indiana's having an incredible year, so you probably wouldn't hear about this until the season is over. But Mike Shanahan is someone who's a really good up and coming offensive mind, someone who's done really good things with Curtis Rourke and the Hoosiers offense. He did really good things at James Madison as well, and someone who maybe Wisconsin has the. I mean, they were paying Longo, I don't, 1 point something million dollars to be their offensive coordinator. I think that Wisconsin has the ability to pay a coordinator more than what Indiana would pay. So maybe you get, an interconference type of guy to come in and take over your offense. Shanahan obviously is a proven offensive mind, and it'll be fun to see what he can do with Wisconsin and how he could turn that around.